Today, I will be discussing and explaining how Proposition 64 in Colorado became an amendment in the Constitution of Colorado. But before we proceed, I must discuss and explain how Proposition reaches the ballot, better yet, how it makes it into the ballot of the state. Here's a brief summary. A proposition may take form of a state constitution or an ordinary statute. In this case, a petition signed by members of the public under the initiative system. The process of proposing laws by petition is the initiative. An initiative application is needed to be submitted. You must get a certain amount of signatures from registered voters. I repeat, registered voters for and in favor for your proposition. In this case, you must get at least 86,000 signatures in the state of Colorado for Proposition 64. At the same time, you must inform the public of the proposition and what it is. The signed petitions are then sent to the Secretary of the State Colorado for the validation of the signatures. For example, Mason Turver, a Proposition 64 activist in the SAFER organization, SAFER, S-A-F-E-R, Organization for the Legislation of Marijuana, used cheap media tactics. By that, it led Proposition 64 to be known throughout the state, informed by it. By that, it leads to public opinion, the rational and logical perspective, and fact that marijuana is safer than alcohol. In this case, this is what he always talked about. During the presidency elections between Barack Obama and Romney, there was propositions on the ballots, and one of them was this one, Prop 64. Yet, there's various different states throughout the country with propositions. Proposition 64, one in turned into Colorado's Constitution as Amendment 64. On November 8th, Colorado added a new amendment to the Constitution, legalized marijuana. And yes, it did win the ballot of 55% and no of 45%. Amendment 64, a brief summary of it. 64 will contribute as a result of state and federal revenue. $40 million in revenue raised annually by such tax be credited to the Public School Capital Construction Assistance Fund and the regulation on sale of industrial hemp. Only adults 21 and older can buy cannabis. So if I were to go to Colorado, I won't be able to do that. Now the state of Mile High City just turned into the Sky Mile High City, living up to the 64 will contribute as a result of state and federal revenue. $40 million in revenue raised annually by such tax be credited to the Public School Capital Construction Assistance Fund and the regulation on sale of industrial hemp. Only adults 21 and older can buy cannabis. So if I were to go to Colorado, I won't be able to do that. Now the state of Mile High City just turned into the Sky Mile High City. A famous line, the voters have spoken and we have to respect their will. Colorado government John Hickenlooper said in a statement, this will be a complicated process, but we intend to follow through. That said, federal law still says marijuana is an illegal drug, so don't break out the Cheetos or Goldfish too quickly.